Hello, hello, hello to everyone on YouTube, Facebook, LinkedIn, and to my dearest Limitless tribe. Today is the 47th episode of the Limitless show, and I just cannot believe how far we have come. So many, it's an array of different amazing guests, phenomenal guests bringing so much wide variety of knowledge into our lives. And we are going to complete our 1 year next week with the 48th episode. And again, I will have, an amazing guest who's going to join us next week. But this week, the guest who has come on this show, he had certain realizations that dawned upon him in the year 2016, and he is not only a money coach and mentor but also has been with the Royal Australian Air Force since 2010 as an officer. And not only that, he's into direct sales, so he is a personality doing so much of different stuff, realizing his amazing potential that he has and trying to add so much of value to the people who are there, who need him. So let's bring him on. I have Josh Lees from Australia, and you need to give a big round of applause. It's 1:30 a.m. in the night for him, and I can't thank him enough for joining us over here. So let's bring him on. Hey Josh, thank you so much for joining me here at midnight your time. It's
Thank you so much for the
absolutely
opportunity.
phenomenal. Thank you so much. I know it must be so much of a pain to wake up in the middle of the night and joining on an interview on a live show.
No, no, it's exciting and it's my pleasure. I appreciate the opportunity. I apologize if I look a little bit tired, but yeah, it's 1:34 here, but I'm excited, so I'm pumped for this. Thank you.
We are excited to have you on too, and thank you so much once again. It's a beautiful gesture and it means a lot, definitely, no doubt about it. So Josh, let's begin with your story. What is your story? How did all the realization dawn upon you, and what did you do about it? And let's go ahead with that.
Yeah, sure. Appreciate that. Yeah, so I've joined the Defence Force in 2010, and you know have had a pretty exciting career to say the least. I joined when I was 18, so still very young. Hadn't spent any time, working on me around, doing what I wanted, playing sport, kind of finding my life and how to do it. But it was probably, yeah, you mentioned 2016. So in 2015, I got posted to, I guess, a workplace that I wasn't overly happy at. And I guess that kind of dawned on me that I was spending so much time doing something I wasn't enjoying. And yeah, come 2016, I got to a place where I was just like, I was about to quit work. I had no idea what I was going to do. I just knew I wasn't happy. I was actually becoming a little bit depressed, and yeah, it wasn't ideal. I realized like I need to do something to make money somewhere else, and that kind of led me to picking up a book. And I'd never read books. I'd never done any personal development to that stage. And I read Rich Dad Poor Dad, and that was the very
Uh-huh.
first book I read, and
Mhm.
that was exciting. Like that changed a lot in was going on in my mind. How to not just make money but use money, and use money to work for me over me working for money. It kind of made me be the master of money rather than master be the money be the master of me. So that was, I guess, that turning point for me. From there, like I worked out I could listen to books while I drive. I actually spent time reading physical books, and it was all based on financial wealth. And then that led me to the personal development side of things, realizing, just putting two and two together, like you can't necessarily be financially wealthy and happy if you're not in some way, shape, or form working on yourself or helping other people in the process.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, fast forward a few years, spent a lot of time working on me. Found a guy named Tony Robbins. After I read his book, Awaken the Giant Within, I ended up
Yes.
getting my partner and myself some tickets to UPW, which went virtual. And I think like that was 2020 when we did that, and that was just an explosion for me. That was yeah, massive realizations in life that I can do a lot more than what I've always believed in myself. So yeah, come to now, and I've changed my career inside the Defence Force. I'm studying uni, which is exciting, engineering at uni, and yeah, I've started helping people with their financial situations. I'm not a financial advisor, so I do the coaching space and kind of help people have those realizations for themselves. Yeah.
Wow. That's so awesome. I mean, how a simple book
Mm.
can change a person's life. This you're the live example of that. Because it's said that, what you're seeking is also seeking you. So you were seeking for something more, to be something more, to do something more, to have something more. And you read the book Rich Dad Poor Dad, and that there the journey began of self exploration and realizing that you are so much more than what you are exploring in yourself, and how you kept finding the tools basically to be able to utilize more of yourself.
Yeah, 100%. Books are full of everything. Whatever you're looking for, you'll find, and you usually find some extra stuff that you weren't looking for, which just helps in ways you wouldn't believe. It's like I can't get enough of reading and learning now because of that.
Right. Amazing, amazing. So now that you have understood what you want to do, you have realized a lot of stuff. If I would have to ask you, I think you are also into direct sales, and which you are also again very passionate about.
Yes.
So what is direct sales, first of all, and how do you think you can also change people's lives with direct sales, and plus of course your coaching.
Yeah, for sure. So direct sales side of the house, there's a number of areas of direct sales. It's basically um, get to partner with a company or a brand in terms of they create products, services, and us as people get to market those products for the company. So to give a very basic overview, whereas like a major company or corporation will market and pay a lot of money for advertising for their products, for their services, over 50% of the revenue that they may use, they market, and that's normal. Whereas the direct sales industry, they pay the people to market their products and allow them to build a business around that. So what, even though the whole thing, like you asked me that 2-3 years ago, I would have just been like, no thanks. Now I see the power in the business model. Not only do I get to use myself with my partner products that I believe in, health products, wellness
Mm-hmm.
products, but
Mm-hmm.
I get to help other people achieve the healthy life that they want through
Right.
finding their needs and filling them, but also the opportunity of business, because not everybody has that business mindset, and to show people that, to say like you can continue doing what you want with your career, with your day job, whatever it is, but you can actually build a business on the side, and this business has the potential, if taken seriously, to change your life financially. So just to be able to offer people that, and then not only offer it to them, but it's like I'm not going anywhere. I'm going to help you do this. I'm going to help you build your business. I'm going to help you achieve the goals that you want. I'm going to set goals with you, and that to me is like, it's coaching again. It's exciting. I get to,
Absolutely.
yeah, just give people a platform and another option. It's like a plan B that can become their life. They don't have to do what they're doing forever. They can do anything they want, and this could be a vehicle to achieve that. So that's what I really like about that.
Amazing, amazing, and so truly said that even that is coaching. You are again holding someone's hand. You are teaching them whatever you have learned on the way to building your business, and you're giving them another opportunity to have a plan B for themselves.
Yeah,
That's so great. So
100%.
I'm sure indirect sales, the products themselves are so great, which help you with your health, with everything else.
Yes, yes. So I guess one thing I've noticed about the industry is the products coming out of the companies, or the services are coming out of the companies, are mostly better than what you'll ever get off the shelf at a supermarket or something. Like, I've always been one who looks after myself as good as I can, health wise. Anyway, like, we all enjoy our little enjoyments in life, but I'll always look at the nutritional values, and I'm not too sure what it's like around India, or like the USA or Europe and stuff. But in Australia, everything has its nutritional values, and usually on the front of the boxes of whatever you're buying, whether it be from the grocery store or from the supermarket, if you're ingesting it or taking it in some way, it'll always say on the front, like, this is 4 out of 5 stars or 5 out of 5 stars health rating. But you look at the back of the box and you're like, this thing's like 50% sugar. Like, how is that even possible? So I've always looking at the nutritional values and going, that's not actually that good for me, yet this is one of the most popular products in the health area. That's what I really like about these companies, because they're giving people a platform to actually share products that actually do something or mean something. The company I branded with do a lot of products in the stem cell space, and like, if I was to ask most people, how would you get any sort of stem cell treatment, they're like, oh, you have to get an injection or something, or you have to go see a doctor. Well, there's actually things you can do that you actually, drink a drink that helps your body release more stem cells, or, just really cool different products that actually help, that you don't really know about unless you talk to people. So, so it's exciting in that sense. And yes, the products have been amazing for me. Like, I never be able to grow nails in my life because I always chewed them as a kid. And now I have really strong nails. And it's just little things like that just give you that bit of confidence,
Wow, nice.
Yeah.
Good to know that.
Yeah.
Yes, great. So now, why? I mean, there are many kinds of coaches in this world, many kinds of coaches. Why did you choose money specially? I understand money is definitely the thing without which no one can survive. Forget about flourishing, forget about freedom. But why specifically money? Because coming from the A Force background, I don't see anything to do with money. Why did that attract you so much that you wanted to be a coach and mentor, teaching and helping people with money?
Yeah. Very good question. In short, I would say it's because I found a passion in my life learning about the topic of money, finance, and wealth. And through learning about it, I actually put it into practice, and that's definitely a totally different step on its own. Because I know I can sit there and read book after book, or I cannot do what I've learned out of that book, and I'm still going to be in the same spot. I might feel a bit better in the mental space, but everything I've learned, well, most things that I've learned that I found of value, I've started to implement myself. So I found a really good podcast and authors who do like the Property Couch podcast, and they also, they've authored 2 books around money and property investing. And just through reading that, like, I'm like, this makes sense to me. So, I've now owned 2 investment properties, like, with my partner now, and then I'm reading stuff on the stock market, and like really resonating with certain strategies in investing. And now I practice that strategy myself, and I even have my own podcast around that strategy with a friend who also follows that stuff. So, like, for me, it was just a natural progression to go, what is another way that I can help people financially? And I use money because the word money is so common across the world. People understand what money is, but people, I guess, don't always understand the real, like, the meaning of wealth or finance. Whereas money just is known. So if I could say I'm a money coach, people know exactly what I'm going to be helping with. But really, if I'm helping people with money and their relationship with money, or their relationship, or their, how to save more, how to make more, or something like that, I'm really helping with their financial wealth, because wealth
Right.
is so much more than finances, but that's their
Yes.
financial side of things. So yeah, for me, it's just like that natural progression to get there.
Amazing, amazing. And I think that is what you call a true calling. So you had your calling and you understood that this is what resonated with you so much that you not only wanted to make yourself completely investment savvy and wealthy, but also wanted to help others do the same.
Yeah,
Right.
that's a really good point. It's something I've never thought about, like having a true calling. But it's like I read it so much in different ways. Like it's what your purpose, and what the bigger thing is for you. So that's really cool.
Right. So, what was your money mindset till 2016? And what has broken? What are the myths that have been bursted? And what is your money mindset now?
Awesome question. I really like that one. Before I started reading and learning, money was there to be spent, um, and if you go further back, and I'm a big one of, like, we all carry money beliefs whether we know it or not, and usually those money beliefs come from our childhood or our upbringing. So for me, I have amazing parents. I love them to bits, but money wasn't always the topic of the day, and if it was, there was often maybe like arguments around money between my parents. So straight away growing up with that doesn't exactly give me the best relationship with money, because I see money as something that causes pain or problems. However, money was spent to live and to have enjoyment. It still had that underlying, like, something's not right here, something's not good about it. So I never had any decent job out of school. I ended up going to uni a little bit. I dropped out of there. I wasn't in the best place even coming straight out of school. But once I joined the Air Force, and I had that consistent salary, I found that, like, over the next 5 to 6 years, I could not get past a certain amount in my account. Like, I didn't know anything about investing. I didn't have any of this stuff. So money came in, money went out. Money came in, money went out. And I was blessed with mum and dad teaching me about saving. Saving's great, but in today's world, something that I guess we don't all know is, just through inflation, your savings, the value of your money is dropping every year. So
Right.
you know, pre 2016, it was just, I had nothing to do with my money. It was just spend it or use it on things. Post that, it's now seeing money as a tool, because money is basically another commodity. It means that I can use money and I can put it to work for me now. So noting that, I can put money into a property, and or I can put money into investments or anything like that, into shares, and over the long period, that's going to pay me back. But it's not only just going to give me my money back for giving it my money, but it's going to give me a little bit extra on top with interest. But if I pick the right investment as well, it's also going to pay me the whole time I have it there. So I look at money now as, I can use it to go to work for me to pay me more money. And that's a money machine, essentially. So bit of a mind shift there.
Yes, no doubt. And so, as you said that, though your parents taught you about saving, but not really, a proper financial education.
Yeah.
So, my question to you, Josh, is why do you think, everyone needs to learn about all these investment strategies and so many different financial instruments, which not only help you save money, but also generate and make much, much more amount of money? Why is this financial education so important for everyone?
Yeah, right. I think it's so important because because the ignorance of not doing it, I guess not. It's not even the fact that people are choosing to be ignorant about it, but it's just the education side of things. School will not teach you how to do this. At least it never did for me. And I believe they do teach finance at school now, which is amazing. But saving money, Tony Robbins puts it perfect. He says you can't save your way to retirement. There's just no physical way unless you're earning, a doctor's salary or something really high. You can't save enough money to retire at a point and then live off of that money. Because if you think about it this way, if I was to save $1 million in cash and just have that cash, then I'm going to be eating away at my capital every single day. So I'm basically limited on how long I can live comfortably then, or how long I can live using that. I hit a point, and unless I've either passed away or something like that, I'm going straight down to zero, and then depending where you live, living on the government. And that I just don't think that saving for retirement is a legitimate financial plan. Whereas simple little things like learning how to save 10% of your pay and invest that, just those simple little shifts, 10% of your pay from the age of 18 to 25 means that you're going to have so much more wealth by the time you reach 55 or 65. And even if you push that out, like, you don't have to start young to be successful at this. Even if you're at the age of 50 already, the difference between saving from 50 to 65 or whenever you plan to retire and actually investing 10% of that or 20% or, depending how aggressive you can be, is going to give you not only a lump of money there at the end to live off of, but that lump of money will be in an investment that pays you. And that's money giving you money. So I don't believe that you can save your way to retirement. And usually, this is a big, generalization. Usually, if you're not have a plan to save and invest, or have a plan for your money, have a budget, have a banking structure set up, then usually you spend it anyway, not even realizing that you're spending. But as soon as you attach a meaning to the income that you're having, it then turns into, this is my first thing. I'm going to pay myself to invest so that I can live comfortably a lot earlier in life for a lot longer in life. So that was a long-winded way of saying it, but I find it's very, very necessary for them reasons.
Totally agree. I think, Josh, but the point which I really loved about what you said was a saving is only a particular sum which is not really growing. I mean, the bank on the savings hardly pays you a peanut, interest. That is
Yes.
not enough to even meet your monthly expenses. So and then you are eating up on that capital that you have in the form of savings. So I
Yes.
think money should be there to make more money, and enough money so that you are just eating out of the interest that you are getting, or maybe royalty, or maybe any other form. I think, any other form rather than just the capital. That capital
Yes.
should stay intact to
Yes,
make more
100%.
money.
Yeah. And you make a really good point there, which is one I missed. Inflation basically devalues your money or your capital every single, year. So the higher inflation is, the less your money will buy for you. So,
Yes.
you can also look at purchasing assets in terms of investments as a massive hedge on inflation as well, because if inflation is sitting at 2%, your money devalues by 2% every year because everything becomes more expensive. If
Yes.
I'm making if I'm even making 4% on my investments, and that's quite modest, especially this day and age, you're still making money. You're making 2% above inflation, which means your net wealth is growing. When anybody who's just saving money and putting it in the bank, their net wealth is dropping. So yeah.
Right. So, would you like to kind of share with the audience as to what are the different kinds of instruments that are there, and that they can go ahead and invest in? Doesn't matter, which country do they live in, because it doesn't matter. I think it's not so country specific. end of the day, the rules remain the same for most of the people.
Yeah, sure. So I think here in Australia, especially, I'm not sure what it is like in the rest of the world, but property is like the family dream, the great Australian dream they call it, and everybody wants to own their own home. Now, there's two ways to look at owning your own home, either as a liability or as an asset. Because in terms of thinking of investments, an investment should pay you for owning it. It should be a cash flow asset of some sort. This day and age is a lot more than just cash flow assets. But owning your own home doesn't essentially pay you. So you could look at owning your own home as like it's a nicety. It's stopping you paying somebody else's house off. So you can definitely look at it as an asset still. So investing in yourself, you're buying an asset that's growing in price generally. So own home is definitely one area where people can invest. But then you've also got, buying investment properties. That's probably my favorite vehicle for investing, in terms of you're allowed to borrow more money to buy an investment property than you are allowed to buy shares, essentially, on the stock market. And what that means is I can have less of my capital, I can borrow money from the bank, and then own a better asset, a more
Okay.
expensive asset. And
Mm-hmm.
usually when you can afford that higher asset, you're closer to a major city. And if you're closer to a major city, the land value generally over periods of time goes up. So you there's a difference of buying like a $200,000 house and a $600,000 house. Might be that your $600,000 house is nice and close into, say, Sydney. Probably not these days, but I'm just using numbers here, which might grow at 10% a year over the next 10 years. So
Mm-hmm.
essentially, you've doubled the price over 10 years, where your $200,000 asset might be, 100 Ks outside of a major city, and it's only going to grow at 4% a year. So you've missed out on, potentially nearly $1 million worth of like net wealth. That's just a few random numbers thrown in there. But yeah, so you've got your own home, you've got property, and then you can move into the share market and you can buy, companies, like specific companies. Like I could jump on the share market right now and buy Apple in America, or I could buy BHP in Australia. So you have access to all of that on the computer now, which is super, super awesome. On your phones, it's crazy. Also, in that same realm, you've got like bonds, and what bonds are is I give my money to either, I could give it to the government, in terms of like in America, they got treasury bills and stuff like that. You can do similar things in Australia. And basically it's like I'm going to give you money and you'll pay me interest on that money until you give it back. So you may not see the capital growth like you would in property or buying a company. You can also buy ETFs, and what ETFs are exchange traded funds. So what you're essentially doing is, on a stock market again, you're buying an index. So
Mm-hmm.
what an index is to say, in Australia, we have the ASX 200, and the ASX 200 is an index made up of the top 200 companies in Australia. So
Okay.
rather than going, I want to buy, FMG or like Fortescue Metals,
Right.
an individual company, I can buy a piece of the top 200 companies with one purchase. So
Right.
it allows you massive diversification in one purchase rather than 200 purchases.
Right.
And yeah, there's also a bunch of other ways, like you can buy commodities, which is essentially like I could go out and buy, corn or oil, and then sell that as the price for that stuff changes. That's a bit more of a in-depth way of doing things. And especially now we've come into the world of digital assets. So everyone knows Bitcoin or cryptocurrencies. It's gone absolutely bonkers lately. And with the new the new area for myself. I haven't looked into this stuff too much, but cryptocurrency, or better known as digital assets, and now we have NFTs, which are non-fungible tokens as well. So everything's changing at a very fast pace, and it's fun to keep up with, and it's also fun to, potentially see where it's going to go in the future. It's really interesting.
Would you share a little more about what are cryptocurrencies and NFTs?
Yeah, sure. So a lot of people will have a lot more knowledge of in this space than I do. I haven't spent a whole lot of time in here, but pretty much crypto. Ooh, let me get my head around this. So Bitcoin is a digital asset, also known as cryptocurrency. And there seems to be a lot more different tokens or coins, whatever you want to call them, coming onto the market at all time, which all do different things. But the first one, the very first one to come out, and the most well-known one is Bitcoin, and it's essentially a digital coin or a digital token that is slowly, it's not a currency, like it's known as a currency, and you can start to actually spend it in certain areas depending on what it is. But yeah, it's just become an investment vehicle online, and like all investments, is demand and supply. Well, the demand for it has kept on growing and kept on growing. It's been influenced by people in influential spaces. There was the whole tweeting saga of it stuff, but it changes the price because people are following that. The more money that flows into these assets, with the idea that it's going to be the future of currency, it's driving the price up. Whether or not all of these extra tokens or coins are going to be anything in the future, I can't not see Bitcoin being there. So it's essentially another asset, another investment vehicle, similar to say gold, but gold's physical. Bitcoin's not. It's on a blockchain. It's different. But yeah, I actually did a podcast with somebody in the Bitcoin space last week. So obviously he was much more versed in it than I am. So I'm trying to regurgitate some of his information. But there's a lot to read out there and a lot for people to look at. And I highly recommend having a look at it.
Wonderful. Why don't you share, what is the name of your podcast with the audience so that they can catch it up on Spotify or Apple, wherever?
Oh, yeah, great. So we have the Legacy Investing podcast. And essentially, at its core, it's about investing, and it's about investing in what we call a legacy investing style, which is derived from, everyone knows Warren Buffett. It's derived from Benjamin Graham, Warren Buffett, and how they come up with their investing style, being, picking a great company and buying it at a great price through doing a lot of research, pretty much. And then, we coming into the age we're in, we start to talk into things of basically anything that you can do your research into investing in, and setting up a legacy for your life, setting up a legacy that you can pass on to your family, and just giving yourself greater wealth through investing as a vehicle.
Right. In fact, you also brought up the talk about gold. So, and since, I'm conducting this talk show right now, sitting here in India, I think gold is quite, women especially in India, they love investing in gold because we have women here wear a lot of jewelry. It's something very, very, a traditional thing. I'm not sure how it is in Australia or Western part of the world. So is gold something which people do look at as a major investment, especially with the digital gold kind of a thing, where you are not buying the physical gold, but you are just investing on it, digitally. So do you actually do that?
So I personally haven't bought physical gold. there is, so I mentioned ETFs before, exchange traded funds. There are companies or there are investments that you can buy on the stock market which tie to physical gold. So when you purchase X amount of dollars into that company or that investment, you own physical gold, which is held by the company. Pardon me.
Right.
So you can invest in gold like that, like which is still physical gold. You just don't have physical gold. Gold is it's a commodity. So like at the end of the day, it's a precious metal. It's one of the most precious metals on earth. But why people invest in gold more so is that it's sort of a hedge. And when we have rocky, turbulent economic times where interest rates might start going up and the investment and the stock markets might start to fall, generally gold does well in those times. So people who hold gold, even though your portfolio might be dropping, your gold's coming up. So it's kind of keeping it balanced. But as we've seen over long term, like gold generally goes up in price as well. So whenever I look at an investment, I'm looking at 20, 30 years down the track, preferably. So where if both of them are going up, you're amplifying your overall returns. But it's like in the short term period, it's a very good hedge on your maybe your share portfolio and other things that are more affected by government, by regulation, and by interest rates generally.
That's amazing. So, since now you already had, I think, a personal development summit that you conducted, what are the major money mindset issues that you came across that most of the people, I mean, irrespective of which country or again which nationality they belong to, a general person has with regards to money or
Yeah. So
investments?
yeah, sure. It's a bit more. It's getting a lot more traction, I guess, with all the media support with regards to investing lately. But a lot of people just don't think it's for them, or they don't know how to do it to start with. Like, you can talk to people and go, oh, like, I'm investing in this. And it's like, how do you even do that? So the education, especially around investing straight away, is not high for a lot of people. And it's not because they're ignorant. Again, it's because you don't learn this stuff unless you go out of your own way to learn how to do it. So just to show people how they can set up a brokerage account and how to actually purchase shares. So brokerage account is the platform which you buy investments on. How to actually purchase shares that they're looking at buying. The education around an individual company compared to an exchange traded fund compared to gold, stuff like that. That's on the investment side of things. And a lot of people got a lot out of not only just talking through how to do that, but like showing people how to do that. Like, this is how I would do it, and taking people through it that way. But with regards to money as well, like seeing money, like relationship with money is important. If you don't have a healthy relationship with finance, then it's not going to be a healthy outcome. It's like most things that are unhealthy. Yeah.
Absolutely.
So, working out like what a healthy relationship is, changing your beliefs, changing it to positive beliefs around money, about finance, and beliefs about yourself, because a lot of self-belief and limiting belief comes into your financial world as well. If I don't think that I'm enough to deserve money, I'm not going to get money in my life. And if I don't have money, I can't start investing. If I don't start investing, I'm not going to reach my financial goals or financial wealth in the future. So just simple things like that, and how to utilize like banking setups, like simple things like, a lot of people will have it, and this is how I always had it too. Money would come into my bank, and then I would have a card attached to that account, and I would spend everything off of that card. And There's nothing wrong with that, but you can't really track what you're spending a lot all the time, and that's where your money just doesn't grow. It's like having little shifts, rule-based systems that you can set up in your own financial world where maybe it's money comes into account, but I don't touch that account. From that account, I pay myself to spend. And then you can never overspend on your savings, so you're always going to be growing, giving yourself the opportunity to invest. So um, yeah, it's definitely a lot of strategy that people wouldn't have learnt the investing side of things. But yeah, definitely the belief. You always got to start with the belief and a reason why you want to be doing things like that. So yeah.
That sounds pretty amazing to me. The thing that you shared, that there has to be a robust system of
Mm-hmm.
how basically you not only keep your money, how you I think a complete system where if the money is coming into one account, you don't use that account to spend. There
Mm-hmm.
should be a separate account where you are paying yourself only for expenditure, so you are really aware as to, you can never go overboard, of course, because you have a separate account and you know how much you want to pay to yourself to spend. So there can be no reason why you go overboard. But if you're using the same account for everything, the money coming in and the money going out, end of the month or maybe end of the year, you find yourself, oh God, you
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
this is not where I wanted to be.
Exactly. And usually you just like, where did it go? You can't even remember it where it went. And I love the saying, like you want to have more money at the end of the month instead of having too much month left for your money. But yeah, it's such a simple system. And yeah, system's definitely the word for it. It's like a rules-based system, and you can set that up however you want. But yeah, just having that separate account so you can't spend from your savings, or you don't ever use your credit card to buy lifestyle expenses. Just little things like that make a massive difference.
Amazing. So do you also use any of such apps, some financial apps which you use to kind of maintain the system of, maybe journaling down? I'm not sure. Some of these apps.
Um, like apps on the phone, apart from banking apps, I don't really have a whole lot. But you did just mention journaling. So you know you could use the notes on your app, and this is one thing I love to share with people because it's such a great way to bring consciousness and awareness to what you're spending money on. So whether it's like, I usually like to have physical
Mm-hmm.
books. I now just got a tablet, which I've fallen in love with because I can literally write on it like a notepad. But
Mm-hmm.
on your phone especially, what I always recommend for people who may be going through those things where it's like, where's all my money going, or not having enough money at the end of the month, write down every expense you do over the month. If ideally, if you can do it for like 6 months, do it for like a year. Every time you
Mm-hmm.
spend even 5 cents or whatever it is in your currency across the world, every time you spend any money, especially if you're using a card, journal it and say what it was for. Because write the date, write the expense, and write what you bought with it. And just to look at that at the end of a month or at the end
Mm-hmm.
of a week,
Mm-hmm.
it's the best part about it is you go, that's exactly what I spent my money on. And then you can start to go, did that serve me? Like if I've
Right.
just spent, $100 on eating takeout, what have I got from that? I've probably got,
Yes.
a little bit unhealthier, if anything. Um,
Yes.
and then you can really look at then what you're spending money on, if it's serving you, and it gives you that great awareness to go, I don't want that. I don't want to do that anymore. I don't want to waste that much money on that lifestyle when it doesn't do anything for me overall. So journaling, I'm so glad you brought that up. That is such a great way to bring awareness and to, I guess, see where you can strategize your spending.
Right, right. So, Josh, that also, kind of, I just thought that, do you have any such morning routines that you maintain for yourself, since now that you are into self-development and you're into coaching? So, are there certain maybe non-negotiable things on your list of things that you do in a particular day, that no matter what, you have to go through these particular systems of living.
Yeah, great way to mention it as systems of living. Yeah, so um, I, I meditate every morning, and
Mhm.
like it doesn't have to be a long practice for me. It's like going through that practice. So I just practice mindfulness for 5 to 10 minutes every morning,
Mhm.
and I find like the benefits from that are profound in terms of, sure, I might not notice it after a day, but after doing it for a month or 3 months, it's just having that little bit more calmness in my life. And so doing that and moving to a practice of visualization. So seeing, like, going through my mind the goals I'm achieving, the goals that I've set out for my life, and then visualizing me already achieved it, and visualizing that, not only visualizing but feeling it in my body. So there's the link between your brain and actual life. Like uh, you can feel anything you want at any time. You can see anything you want at any time, just through practicing visualization. And
Absolutely.
it's sometimes more real than real life. Like you can induce your body with anxiety if you think of something that has caused you anxiety in the past. That
Yes.
you're really feeling that regardless of if it's
Yes.
happening. So for me, it's meditation and practicing that visualization in the morning. Generally, I like to move every day. Whether it be going for a run or going to the gym, some sort of fitness is important. And towards the end of the day, it's reading. So journaling every night before bed, and not touching my phone from that point on either. So taking that time to journal through my day, write down my wins, write down what I'm grateful for. Have to practice gratitude every day, because that's an amazing practice. And just reading a book, or listening to a book if you need to, but ideally reading, because I don't want to have to look at my phone screen again from there.
And are you a physical book reader, or a Kindle, or an Audible person? I mean, how do you generally do your reading?
Yeah, always prefer physical book, especially at night. Just you're not looking at a screen anymore. You're looking at a book. It does help you wind down and become tired, in my opinion. However, if it's in the car, it's always Audible. And if I can't get a physical book, I will read Kindle. But definitely a physical book person.
Wow, amazing. So, in this round, my last question to you before we move on to our lightning bolt round is, do you believe in limitlessness, Josh? This is a signature question I have for all my guests. And if you do, who, according to you, is limitless?
Yeah, wow. That's a really good question. I absolutely believe in Limitless. You are only limited in your life by what you can perceive in your brain. So, yeah, you can achieve anything you want in life. Anybody can achieve anything they want in life. It's just have that visualization, see it happening, and take action, take massive action to achieve it. Even if you don't know what you're doing yet, you will achieve it. So, yes, I totally believe in that. And when I think of Limitless, I start to think of uh, here's my company and investing realm coming in. People like Steve Jobs and people like Elon Musk, because for them to achieve the things that they've achieved, imagine how many times they would have been called crazy by the general population, or the everybody else. And that in my opinion, they're limitless people. They've done things that nobody could have ever thought about or perceived in their brain, and they're doing it. So they did it or are doing it. So there are a couple of people that come to mind.
Amazing, amazing, and absolutely. And I believe, Josh, it's not only the people who have really absolutely left a big mark on the world, indelible mark on the world, but also the people who are working towards their limitlessness, who are getting out of their comfort zones and trying to be more than what they have been in their life. I think each and every such person who has woken up to their
Mm-hmm.
own infinity is limitless.
Yes, I absolutely agree. That's a really good way to put it, because there's so many people, look at yourself sharing what you're sharing and doing what you're doing. Like you're creating anything you want out of this. You know what I mean? So that in turn is limitless. That's really great.
Yes. Great. Thank you so much, Josh. And we move on to our next round, which is the lightning bolt round, a very short and sweet round of like, hardly 5, 7 minutes. And you just give me one word or one liner answers.
Okay.
So here we go. Okay. So, Josh, what are the top three books as of date that you would recommend anyone watching this show to must, read?
Sure. Rich Dad, Poor Dad, High Performance Habits, and Awaken the Giant Within.
Amazing, amazing. I love the first and the last. The middle one I have to pick up. I have not read that.
It's great.
Okay, so what are the top three? If you think about your life, the the decisions that you have made, behind any decision, what are the top three values that you see that you have gone, you have adhered to these values? What would be those top three values?
Health.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, sorry, this is put me on the spot. This is awesome. Health, definitely. Honesty. I would say honesty is integrity.
Integrity.
Yep. And definitely, I'm going to put action there as a value because you have to do that. And in my opinion, you
Yes.
have to do that. So sorry, there's a few more words in there, but yeah, health, integrity, and action.
Amazing. Without action, there is nothing. I mean, I think no matter how many books you read, how many summits you attend, end of the day, if you're not taking action, I think all your values go for a toss. You cannot realize really any of the values without
Exactly.
any action.
Yeah.
So yes, absolutely. Action is the biggest thing behind anything.
100%.
Right. And who would be the person you would say who has influenced you the most in your life?
Tony Robbins.
Okay, that's wonderful. He's my mentor
Yeah.
too.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. Uh, if I say define Josh in 2 sentences, how would you define yourself?
Continually working on myself so that I can be better for myself, live happier for myself, with the reason of being better for my partner, for my dogs, and the people around me.
Fantastic. So, Josh, what would you want to be remembered as after you're gone?
Somebody that helped a lot of people achieve their goals in life. Ideally, like a lot in the financial space, yes, but life in general, because finance is only one part. And if I can leave a positive impact in people's lives in one way or another, then I feel like that's ultimately an amazing outcome.
Fantastic. What's the biggest lesson you have learned in your life?
The biggest lesson, for me, it's just having belief in yourself that you can do it. Like like getting rid of that little voice in your head saying this isn't for you, you're an imposter, and just you can do it. You can do anything you want. It's going to be hard at times, and it might be uncomfortable. It's definitely going to be uncomfortable, but you can do it. Anybody can do it. What they want, when they want, how they want.
Fantastic. That's so true. I mean, no matter what, again, the same thing, I think, no matter how much wisdom you have, no matter how much knowledge you have, if you don't believe in yourself, no one else will believe in you. And then it becomes very tough for you to realize your goals or do anything about it because I think, yes, that self love, that self trust is the utmost important thing.
Yes, agree.
Great. So, the last one for you would be, what is the message, one message that you want to share with the audience before you leave for the day?
Be open minded about what you learn, about opportunities in your life, and realize that generally people are there to be good and to help in one way, shape, or form. So just being open to opportunities and to life and to learning is what allows you to grow. I guess it's, think of personal development and stuff. If you're not open to it, if I was to sit there and go, I don't believe in Tony Robbins or what he teaches, or I think books are a waste of time, I wouldn't be who I am. So being open to life and what life can offer you, what people can offer you, and what, yeah, in general, I think that's a message I would like to leave.
Absolutely, absolutely. Thank you so much, Josh. I think, I really had a lot of learning and fun alongside with this talk show. And just to acknowledge, we had Scott Collins, who was out there on the, amongst the viewers, and he said, well done, mate, Josh Lees. Thank you so much, Scott Collins, for
Thank
being
you.
there and commenting on it. And thank you so much once again. I need to appreciate and acknowledge that you took the trouble of waking up in the middle of the night and join me over here for this talk. That itself shows your motivation and the resilience with which you lead your life. So you have just set an example for the others as well. Thank you so much, Josh. You brought in a lot of value to us.
Thank you so much for the opportunity, and thank you so much for doing this for people to, get some amazing experiences from, people coming on your show and from yourself as well. So thanks so much. I appreciate you.
Thank you so much, Josh. And you have a good night once again. You take care and have a great rest of the week ahead.
I will. You too. Have a really good day.
Thank you so much. Bye bye.
Bye.
Bye. Hey people, I hope you had a lot of learning with this session about money, about investments, the money mindset, and so much else. Wasn't it phenomenal? So, next week, I invite you to come over at 8 p.m. Indian time, and the show will be for 30 minutes. It's an anniversary episode. It's going to be a short episode, but a powerful one at that. And I wish you all the best in your life, in your career. And I'll see you next week. God bless you. Take care. Good night. Good day, wherever you are. God bless you. Bye bye. Be limitless.